Vice President Yemi Oshibajo flag off instead of Oba Ewa II. Humble tone of a majesty on the legendary throne, the 40th Oba of Benin. Share 420 billion naira for October. Good evening and a warm welcome. This is NTA's Network News, reaching you live on Africa's largest television network, the NTA. I'm Rhoda Obo. Another milestone was recorded in the legendary life and times of the Benin people this Thursday with the enthronement of the new Oba. He is known as Oba of Benin, Ewari II Niogidiga, a name that brings memories of one of his ancestors, Ewari the Great. President Muhammadu Buhari was represented by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo. Over now to Ameze Igiebo Anyaru in our Benin Network Center for more details. It's over to you.
Thank you very much, Rhoda. Well, on a very warm note, the Oba of Benin, Oba Ewari II Ogidiga, has pledged to focus on real issues of security, development, and welfare of the people. Agatha Egwere Ojo gives us details of his exciting enthronement with guests from within and outside the country.
Governor Adams Oshomole presenting staff of office to the new Oba before the proclamation of his name, Oba Ewari II. President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by Vice President Yemi Oshibajo, says Oba Ewari II has full support of the federal government, especially in his desire to empower the youths.
Your Royal Majesty Omanoba Nedo Uku Akpolopolo, the great and deep history of the Benin people is not just a source of pride to their Edos, but to Nigeria and indeed to the African people.
Governor Shomole recalled fond memories of the contributions of the transited Oba Ediawa. He expressed confidence in the ability of Oba Ewari II to fit into the royal shoes of his father.
I joined millions of Edo people and of Nigerians and indeed your admirers around the world to congratulate you on this occasion and to join in asking God and our ancestors to grant you all the wisdom that your majesty will need to succeed in this most exalted position as Oba of this great kingdom.
The Oba says he will pay attention to all matters of custom and tradition and carry out reforms in the palace administration to adequately respond to the people's quest for justice, equity and stability.
Our responsibility from now on is daunting, but I am confident that with the blessing of God Almighty, we shall succeed in this life mission of building upon the legacies of our father.
Many of us are witnessing history because probably it's only once or twice in a lifetime one is opportune to witness this kind of coronation.
For all those who are privileged to be here, it will be a memorable day.
He has a very great role to play, even in the within the larger Nigerian context.
He has told us that going by history, he is not the 39th for the 40th Oba of Benin. I want to hand you over to my colleague, Ogochukwuka Ona.
At midnight, Usama Palace came alive with fireworks to usher in the new era, which coincided with the Oba's birthday.
It's very historic and a great coincidence. So you can imagine him being coronated on his birthday. It's two very strong blessings. So we are truly blessed to have our king today.
I think it's a divine confidence that we are marking these two very great events on the same day.
the birthday of His Royal Majesty and his accession to the throne. Today is a day of joy, you know. It's a culmination of a process that started a long time ago. So today we're getting a new Oba. The whole kingdom is happy. We are blessed.
And moving from Usama Palace to Rokota Hall, the people demonstrated their love for the Oba as they accompanied him all the way.
The Nigerian leader for impacting positively on her life and that of the nation over the years.
As I knew that I was turning 80, I took a stock of my life, and in that process, I looked at who has been instrumental in my development. And being honest to myself, the name of President Muhammadu Buhari was one of the top names on my list. And hence, I decided to come and see him and express my gratitude to him for his support to me over the years. It has been a solid pillar behind me in my career development, and I am very grateful to him for that. He remembers it all. He's very, very pleased that I took the chance and the time to come and see him, and he paid me more encomiums, which made my head swollen.
The return to freedom of the 21 abducted Chibok schoolgirls recently is a clear manifestation of the Buhari's administration's doggedness and commitment towards eliminating the menace of terrorism and insurgency in the country for sustainable peace and development. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu in this report examines the critical steps taken towards achieving the objectives.
Get back to work and make Nigerians proud.
President Muhammadu Buhari giving a marching order to the nation's military to bring to an end the inherited challenge of security in the northeastern part of the country. With the government's unprecedented support to the armed forces, all the communities under the custody of Boko Haram have been liberated, the terrorist capabilities neutralized, and the foundation laid for lasting peace and development. When Amina Ali Nkeki, one of the Chibok girls, was found in May 2006, the president reassured the nation that the safe return of all the others in captivity is a matter of priority.
No girl in Nigeria should be put through the brutality of forced marriage. Every girl has the right to an education and a choice of life.
And when the news broke that 21 girls were released, the president, who was on his way to Germany on official assignment, reacted this way.
I'm pleased about it, but the Nigerians all over, are our responsibility, and we will continue to secure them wherever they are.
Meanwhile, on the instruction of the president, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo led senior government officials to formally receive the girls.
So much needs to be done to get them back to living a normal life after so much trauma in captivity.
It was an emotional moment of joy and rekindled optimism as the 21 abducted Chibok schoolgirls released by Boko Haram and their parents filed into the council chamber of the State House to formally say thank you to President Muhammadu Buhari.
They and their parents insisted that they must have an opportunity to meet with you and to thank you.
President Buhari described the release of the girls after a series of negotiations between government and Boko Haram as a credible first step in his administration's determination to secure the remaining Chibok girls and all the others in captivity.
We shall redouble efforts to ensure that the remaining girls will be freed and returned to us without further delay.
Aside from rescuing the girls, President Buhari said the federal government has also taken over the responsibility for their personal, educational, and professional goals and ambitions in life.
These 21 girls have seen the worst that the world has to offer. It is now time for them to experience the best that the world can do for them.
At the event, formal appreciation was extended to the parents of the girls, Nigerians, and the international community for their patience, understanding, support, and confidence in the ability of the government to secure the safe release of the girls. For the spokesperson of the girls, Rebecca Malu, and the chairman, Chibok Local Government, Yaga Yarakawa, they cannot thank the Buhari administration enough for restoring their hope and confidence in government.
We are happy for seeing this wonderful day, because we don't know that we shall come back to be member of Nigeria.
On behalf of Chibok people, the parents of the abducted girls, we are saying thank you, may God bless you.
He has always said that he will do everything within his powers to ensure that these girls are brought back safely. And we can see commitment, we can see sincerity.
So we call on everybody to also help with prayers, with in whatever way that can lead to the rescue and release of anybody that is in captivity.
From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The federal government says it is committed to the development of the Niger Delta area and the amnesty program to open up more opportunities for young Nigerians to benefit. This was at a presidential reception for outstanding graduates of the presidential amnesty program. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports that the Vice President, Yemi Oshibajo, represented President Muhammadu Buhari.
On display at the entrance of the banquet hall of the State House is this 34-seater bus built from the scratch to finish by delegates of the amnesty program, and the trio of Lucky, Torbein and Nathaniel put up outstanding performance in their degree programs, which guarantees them a straight passage to study for the doctorate degrees, skipping the master's program of their respective universities in the UK. They are part of hundreds of Niger Delta youth in universities in Nigeria and in foreign countries, many of them coming out with first-class degrees in their chosen fields. Observers believe these are indications that the presidential amnesty program is working. Commenting the outstanding performance, Vice President Yemi Oshibajo says this feat has opened more opportunities for youth in the country, especially those of the Niger Delta region. He employed them to engage in dialogue rather than violence in making their views known.
The future is bright, the future is really good, and a lot is going to depend on how you apply yourselves in the coming years. A lot is going to depend on how you take these opportunities and use them maximally. I really look forward to seeing you becoming the great people that God has purposed you all to be.
The Vice President says the federal government remains committed to the development of the Niger Delta region, stressing that the focus is to create more opportunities for the youths in the area and in the country. One of the beneficiaries, Alexander, speaks on behalf of others.
We have collectively resolved to be vanguards of peace in our quest to building a new Niger Delta where armed restiveness, vandalism, and all forms of conflict will be a thing of the past.
There were also comments giving kudos to the federal government and urging the community to give peace a chance.
By ensuring that the needful is done, support the policies of the government, support the peace process of the government, and support the all-in-all of government in order to ensure that our economy once again is revamped and development is achieved.
So this is really gladdens my heart, no end. These young men and women who have gone have blazed the trail, and we hope that this progress will also reach out to other parts of the country.
From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
The Senate has called on the federal government to put in place more sustainable intervention program for the enhancement of the aviation industry in Nigeria. Waziri Zayyani reports that the call was contained in a bill on development in the Nigeria's aviation industry presented at plenary on Thursday.
Emerging challenges bedeviling the aviation industry in Nigeria, particularly the economic recession, have caused several airlines to either suspend or are about to withdraw their operations.
Urge government to
to take another hard look at the currency management system to save the country from further divestment and business failures in order to save Nigerian workers.
I believe, therefore, that the essence of this motion is to halt this problem in the aviation industry. First of all, so that Nigerians who are employed by these airlines can keep their jobs.
The Senate also considered and passed a report on the Joint Committee on Special Duties and Establishment and Public Service on the Northeast Development Commission Bill.
What happened in the Northeast certainly happened in Kano State. If we want justice to play in this legislation, we must include Kano as part of the state that will be assisted via this legislation.
Also passed is the report on the Committee on Establishment on the National Assembly budget. As Senate President Bukola Saraki acknowledged final list of non-career ambassadorial nominees sent by President Muhammadu Buhari, Senator Philip Aduda expressed concern over the exclusion of FCT nominee.
If the president, who is our governor, will send a list and then there's no nominee from the FCT, then something is wrong somewhere.
From the National Assembly, Waziri Zayan, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has urged the federal government to implement the Abuja Declaration on Health by appropriating at least 15% of the 2017 budget to the health sector. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that members also resolved to investigate the status, sale and transfer of PHCN assets to the National Electricity Liability Management Company in 2011.
Worried by the imminent withdrawal of major donor agencies from funding procurement of vaccines in Nigeria, House members observed that this is the right time to declare state of emergency on primary health care and improve budgetary allocation. This came in a motion moved by Representative Chike Okafor from Imo State.
The manifestations of the weak primary health care system in Nigeria, like the sporadic outbreak of cholera in parts of the southeast and northern zone of the country, the new cases of Lassa fever in the south-south, and now the resurgence of polio in the northeast.
Most health centers do not even have electricity.
We are running out of vaccines, and we have a shortage of over $180 million.
Members advised the federal government to give bailout funds to local automobile manufacturers, as moved by Representative Fijabi Sahid from Oyo State.
If we can give bailout to states, there's no reason why we should not be able to look inward as a nation and give bailout to an industry.
People that have, by their own God-given initiative, started off this have not been encouraged.
There is no other way for us left rather than to invest in ourselves so that we generate employment within.
7 bills were passed at first reading. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nko, NTA News.
Trust has been described as a precondition for peace and development in Africa. Secretary General, World Council for Religions for Peace, Dr. Williams Vendley, stated this at a briefing to round off Religious for Peace conference organized by the African Council of Religious Leaders. Lydia Bassi was there and now reports.
The conference, which drew 250 participants from 40 countries, had 28 African countries represented, including 50 Nigerian participants. Tagged Faith Works Africa, Partnerships for Peace and Prosperity, organizers and partners highlighted the importance of good governance, food security, and poverty eradication towards economic growth and lasting peace in the African continent.
We have watched you, Nigerians, go through difficulty and travail. But what has touched us is the way you have united as a nation.
Notable dignitaries advocated inclusive, unified manner of partnership from international donor agencies for more positive results in peace building in Africa.
We're moving together as religious leaders. We had a very big impact.
One point I wanted to make is the whole question of partnership, which runs through all our discussion.
God Almighty created us as races, not for us to be in conflict with one another, but for us to understand ourselves.
A lot of the problems that our people are facing that have nothing to do with religion are being baptized as religion.
African Council of Religious Leaders came into existence in 2003. Lydia Bassi, NTA News.
Now, value reorientation amongst Nigerians is a necessary recipe to readdress corruption, the fight against corruption in the country. This was the opinion of guest on NTA's current affairs program, Moments for Thought.
To fight corruption that is to be supported and to be carried out by all concerned, we have to be well defined in the values for which we stand by.
Yes. There is collective responsibility in defining uprightness, values.
Yes.
That will make life easier for the government.
The program comes up tonight at 10:30 on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. 3 tiers of government shared 420 billion naira at the Federal Account Allocation Committee FAC meeting as revenue accrued in the month of September. Leah Katung Babatunde reports that the committee identified government's resilience in capital expenditure as a push factor for the ascension of Nigeria to the #1 economy in Africa by the IMF.
Nigeria's ability to regain its position as the largest economy in Africa, as attested to by the International Monetary Fund and IMF, is yet the big news.
Also goes to confirm the massive capital investment that has been made by federal government, capital spending, not just by the federal government, by the state governments as well. So Nigerians should have confidence in the economy.
At the monthly Federation Accounts Allocation Committee meeting for October, Permanent Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, who chaired the session in the absence of the minister, laid credence to the fact that measures put in place by government to address revenue shortages and boost economic activities have begun to yield results.
I'm not surprised at all, given what's happening, what the government is doing to get us out of the current economic problems and the potentials of the economy.
Of the 420 billion naira distributed, statutory revenue was 250.947 billion naira and VAT 64.265 billion naira, exchange gain of 41.4 billion naira and petroleum profit tax of 63.386 billion naira helped improve distributable revenue, while NNPC made a refund of 6.33 billion naira to the federal government. In Abuja, Leah Katung Babatunde, NTA News.
Thank you very much, Leah Katung Babatunde. And this is just to let you know that you can watch this news live on the go via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. FCT Minister pledges support for Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria. When we return after these messages, stay with us.
When has it reached this? Much less this. And this. And this. And this. Help reclaim our Commonwealth. Lend your support to the fight against corruption for a better Nigeria.
Why do moms do? Why do moms do the things they do? The things they do. They go the extra mile just to put the spotlight on you.
Don't you wish your mommy was fine like mine? Don't you wish your mommy was smart like mine? Don't you?
3 Crowns milk is low in cholesterol, great tasting, and filled with essential vitamins to help moms stay fit in every moment.
3 Crowns milk. Healthy moms, happy families.
Does your antiseptic liquid kill the germs that cause flu, diarrhea, typhoid? Dettol does. Dettol provides 10 times more protection versus leading competition. So why take a risk with your loved ones?
Dettol Mom.
She only trusts Dettol Antiseptic Liquid to kill 100 illness-causing germs, and it's recommended for cuts and scrapes. Worry less and love more. Don't just be any mom, be a Dettol mom. Dettol, be 100% sure.
The 2016 Federal Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment meeting of the National Council of Industry, Trade and Investment will take place from Monday 24th to Thursday 27th of October 2016 at the June 12 Cultural Center, Kuto, Abeokuta, Ogun State. Theme: Diversification of Nigerian economy from overdependence on oil export.
Who should attend? All state commissioners and PAMSECs of industry, trade, investment, commerce and tourism, CEOs of parastatals and agencies under the ministry, as well as development partners and organized private sector such as MAN, NASIMA, FACAN and others.
The Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshinbajo, will declare open the council meeting on Monday, 24th October 2016. All state commissioners for commerce, industry, trade, investment and tourism and other delegates are to arrive at Abeokuta on Sunday, 23rd October 2016.
For further information, please contact Deputy Director, Planning, email umaru@yahoo.co.uk or call 0809 543 4179.
Even on those nights, my worries are now out of sight. So in the morning light, I always wake up bright. New Always Ultra's Booster Gel absorbs up to 3 times more. So no matter my flow, I'm protected from stains all night. Now I wake up bright and worry-free, spreading my joy and energy. With New Always Good Nights and better days, stay happy always.
Umogwo Abanedo Wabamani Manedo Yayo Uku Akpala no Giema Wemi Ukpono Bamaja Ugboriri no Saya Yobeto Ijare Captain Hosa Okubotwo Giema.
I, Captain Dr. Hosa Okumbo, heartily felicitates
with His Royal Majesty Oba of Benin
on this auspicious occasion of your coronation as Oba Eware II, Oba of Benin Kingdom. It is our prayers that the Almighty God and our ancestors will grant you good health and peaceful reign on the throne. Oba Gatokbe Ise. Signed, Captain Dr. Hosa Okumbo.
The Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, invites state commissioners, permanent secretaries and directors of information and all other stakeholders in the information sector to the 46th National Council on Information with the theme, Leveraging on Information and Digital Technology to Sustain the Change Agenda of Government. Chief host, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, Governor of Delta State. Venue, Event Center Okpanam Road, Asaba, Delta State. Date, 26 to 29 October 2016. Program is as follows. Wednesday, 26 October 2016. Time, 12 noon to 3 p.m. Arrival and registration of participants. Thursday, 27 October 2016. Time, 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. Registration continues and 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. is slated for the technical session. Friday, 28 October 2016. Time, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Registration of state commissioners. 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Opening ceremony. And from 12 noon to 6 p.m., the council meeting would take place. Announcer, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
IGR workshop for heads of tertiary institutions in Nigeria, holding in Abuja. In times like this, only creative and innovative institutions can fulfill their visions and missions. Join other vice chancellors, rectors, and provosts for this 360 degrees strategic blueprint summit for tertiary institutions, internally generated and third stream revenues. Date 1st and 2nd November 2016. Venue, Rays Continental Hotel, Central Business District, Abuja. For inquiries, call 0818-502-1405 or 090-345-34925. You can also email us with info@scbsedu.org or you visit our website on www.scbsedu.org/IGR Abuja to register. Please come with the directors of income generating centers of your institution. IGR Workshop. We learn, network, and re-strategize. This initiative is of Sean Cousins Consulting and NTA TV Enterprise.
Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching NTA's Network News. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has pledged strategic partnership with the Nigerian Television Authority towards a successful hosting of the Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria Bonn General Assembly billed to hold in Abuja next month. FCT Minister Mohammed Musa Bello gave the assurance while he received NTA's management team led by the Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed. Mitari Ibn reports.
Warm pleasantries between the FCT minister and the NTA management underscores the FCT administration's long-standing relationship with Africa's largest TV network, which has spanned decades. The Director General of NTA told the minister that the forthcoming Bonn General Assembly, which is the last to be hosted under the chairmanship of NTA before a new Bonn leadership comes on board in January 2017, will attract over 100 media executives of broadcasting organizations across the country.
We intend to make it a very big event. The last General Assembly was hosted by Lagos, so we are hoping that the FCT will also take advantage of this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and leverage on it so that the good work being done by the minister and his team will be elevated to such a level that no one will be left in doubt as to the aims and objectives of the current FCT administration.
The FCT minister, while acknowledging NTA's numero uno status in broadcasting across Africa, pledged total support.
I'm sure we'll be able to make the NTA proud and Abuja proud. By the time you are done, NTA would, go to another level.
He also promised the inclusion of the ongoing construction of the Goodluck Jonathan Expressway and the adjoining Parkway around the NTA headquarters in the 2017 budget towards speedy completion of the road project. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
As the 2016 edition of Africast ends in Abuja, presentations in continuation of a plenary call for the establishment of the Ministry of Broadcasting, appropriate national policy on broadcasting and 100% government funding of public broadcasting in Nigeria. Thumati Yusuf tells us more.
Okpeyemi Ogunsaju is among exhibitors at Africast 2016, while Shitu Kabir is a manufacturer of set-top boxes for television digital transition and called for patronage of local content in the broadcast industry.
We are standing shoulder to shoulder with developed societies in content creation.
Digitalization has come to stay. By 2017, we must join the world.
Financing quality content for public broadcasting. Can we maintain the status quo in the digital sphere? And the producer and his content in the digital era were among issues discussed at day 3 and final day.
If we are to have public broadcasting in Nigeria, government must fund it 100% and let the professionals do the rest.
We must address our minds to the emerging reality that with digitization, there will be pluralism, there will be many more channels.
The Nigerian Television Authority, through its integrated television services, says it is ever committed to take the lead in national broadcast signal distribution network.
NTA is getting to the peak of fate because most of their network regional station has been fully digitized.
Participants are convinced that digitization will challenge them towards attainment of quality content. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, says Nigeria has resolved to meet the June 2017 deadline for the digital switchover. The minister stated this in a message to a stakeholders conference holding at the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, Kuru. Ben Mitu was there.
The essence of the conference is to review the policy framework towards a comprehensive policy which will serve as a guiding principle for the operations of the media. On this note, the minister, through Director of Information in the Ministry, Peter Dama, charged stakeholders to develop a policy framework which will revitalize information and communication sectors.
In view of centrality of information to national development, the National Information Policy also foresees the emergence of a nation in constant dialogue with itself and with the world.
Representative of the Plateau State Governor and Commissioner for Information, Malam Nazif Muhammad, called on stakeholders to bridge the disconnect between political leaders and the people. In a paper titled The Nigerian Media Environment in the 21st Century Broadcasting, Director General, Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, represented by NTA's Executive Director Special Duties, said the broadcast media is faced with many impediments which limits its performance of statutory mandate.
It is, however, important to state the pluralism that is one of the defining elements of the Nigerian broadcast media today was the development of the twilight of the 20th century.
In Jos, Ben Me Too. NTA News.
Now let's turn our attention to education, as the teaching of history as an independent subject is to be reintroduced in primary and junior secondary schools in the next academic session. Franca Uzoma Olwa reports the Minister of Education, Adamu, flagged off the beginning of the disarticulation of history contents from social studies curriculum in Abuja.
In the last few years, Nigerians have clamored for the reintroduction of history as a core subject in the basic education curriculum. Little wonder the ministerial session of the 61st National Council on Education approved a 3-year strategic plan in which the benefits of teaching history in schools were emphasized.
This is what we hope history will be able to do to our children, inculcating them a positive sense of values of service, morality, discipline, courage, nationalism, patriotism.
With the series of activities lined up for the disarticulation of history, the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council will have to contend with the challenges of producing new textbooks and the training of history teachers.
Once you have the textbooks, the teachers are already there. It's not that history is not taught, because we have it as a subject in senior secondary school. It is also offered in the university and various colleges of education, particularly at the primary school level. Produce videos that you can play and a child would see. For instance, you are talking about traditional rulers.
A nation without history, of course, is operationally dead.
From September next year, Nigerian children will begin to have the basic knowledge of their yesterday, today and tomorrow through the study of history. Franca Uzoma Olwa, NTA News.
29 senior officers of the Nigeria Customs Service have been dismissed from service for various acts of gross misconduct. The dismissed officers are among the 44 senior officers punished for actions capable of compromising national economy and security. While 10 other officers were retired from service, the appointment of one was terminated. 4 other officers who were investigated and tried for some offences were exonerated. In a statement, Deputy Controller Public Relations Officer Wale Adeni explained that the Controller General of Customs, Colonel Ahmed Ali, right from assumption of office has made it clear that the service will not compromise the principles of fighting corruption and indiscipline amongst the officers, and one that punitive sanctions will continue to be used to discipline officers who refuse to embrace change. President Muhammadu Buhari has approved a number of ecological fund intervention projects for the fourth quarter of 2016 in 11 states spread across the 6 geopolitical zones. This is contained in a statement by the Director Press Bolaji Adebi for the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. The beneficiary states are Kebbi, Kaduna, Ogun and Osun states. Others are Cross River, Delta, Adamawa, Bauchi, Anambra, Imo, Benue states. The funds are to be used for flood and erosion control projects, as well as remediation of sludge pits and oil spillage in Kaduna and Warri refineries. The projects are expected to ameliorate the sufferings of affected communities, create jobs and increase food production. Nigeria's former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, says agriculture is the way to go in getting the country out of recession. Hence, the need for the recent government to keep faith with its promise of diversifying the economy through agriculture. He made this submission at an agricultural development forum in Abuja. Swala Khalil Ibrahim has the details.
Organization's 2016 Development Forum brought together policy makers, agri-businessmen and women, as well as farmers, to profile ways into Nigeria's food insecurity, challenges and opportunity in the agricultural sector. Former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, who led other discussions, said,
"But most importantly, we have to reflect on how to get back to agriculture with the objective of attaining food security and sustainable agribusiness in Nigeria."
The forum is aimed at increasing knowledge on food security and sustainable agriculture in Nigeria, create opportunities for entrepreneurs and development partners to interact on sustainable agriculture in Nigeria, as well as provide information on youth employment opportunities.
Appeal to youth particularly to engage in agriculture.
Like the Honourable Minister has been saying, government is determined to ensure that farmers have access to credit at single-digit interest rates.
We need to also assist these farmers to market the products. Otherwise, they will not be encouraged.
In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
For more on repositioning agriculture, let's go over now to our Lagos Network Center, where we have Abdullahi. Abdullahi, it's over to you.
Good evening. Technologists at the Federal Institute for Industrial Research, produced in Nigeria and stimulate consumption. To the federal government's ban on land importation of rice, local production and consumption of rice was at its lowest ebb. Months into the ban, estimates of harvest are pointing to the fact that Nigeria can meet its rice consumption demand.
Our requirement is about 3 million metric tons per annum. KB State alone is producing over 1 million metric tons. By the time you take Ebonyi, you take Niger, you take Kano, you take Kogi, you are doing more than that, which means in effect our potential for rice production is way above 5 million metric tons.
And more interesting is that local fabricators are developing efficient processing machines to improve the quality of locally produced rice. The latest being the destoning machine fabricated by technologists at the Federal Institute of Industrial Research, Oshodi.
It's not only rice destoning, it's a whole process line on rice processing for the small, medium, and large enterprises.
Thank government get government support to produce this machine in mass to the local farmers. I think the issue of importation of rice will be a thing of the past.
The technologists are optimistic that if huge investment is made to produce the machine en masse, the cost of fabrication will be significantly reduced. And it's now time to take a short break for some messages here, after which the news continues shortly. Don't go away.
As part of the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, to promote voluntary compliance and spare taxpayers the burden of carrying forward old tax liabilities arising from penalty and interest, the service wishes to invite all principal officers, especially chairmen, managing directors, chief executive officers, and non-executive directors, chief financial officers, and all company owners or their representatives to take advantage of a special window to avoid payment of penalty and interest on tax due between 2013 and 2015. The service will grant a pardon dating back to 3 years, 2013 to 2015, to all taxpayers if such taxpayers declare their indebtedness within the 45-day special window and present a payment plan on the outstanding principal tax liability acceptable to the FIRS. This window opens on 5th October and closes on 24th November 2016 and relates only to accumulated penalty and interest, not principal tax due. Based on this waiver, part or full payment of undisputed tax liabilities should be made, while the balance can be paid in installments not lower than 25% on account. Failure to take advantage of this special window will result in the FIRS deploying all legal means, including criminal prosecution of board and management of defaulting organizations. Applicants wishing to take advantage of the special window are enjoined to forward their applications to Office of the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, 20 Soko Day Street, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja.
This must be one of Mother Nature's greatest gifts. But there's something else it gives us. When we see such beauty, we want to share it with those we love. That's what LG wants you to see. Just what we see now, through our technology. LG OLED TV.
Introducing new Dettol multi-surface cleaner for a healthy home. Some cleaners don't kill germs, others kill germs but don't clean properly. New Dettol multi-surface cleaner gives you 10 times better germ kill, 10 times better cleaning, and all-day freshness for a healthy home.
Germs, oil and dirt cause blemishes and uneven skin tone. You need Dettol Even Tone. It removes 99.9% of germs and is formulated to remove excess oil and dirt, helping to reduce blemishes. New Dettol Even Tone.
Hey, brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. Oh, the sky comes falling down. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Hey, what if I'm far from home? Oh, brother, I will hear you call. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do.
Hey, I just had a shower, but why do I still feel so hot and sweaty? Let me finish this and I will show you something surprising. Let's take a look. See, heat means sweat. Sweat brings germs. Dettol 100 times cool. It removes germs to leave you feeling clean, fresh, and 100 times cool. Beat the heat and germs with Dettol 100 times cool.
Dettol, endorsed by the Nigerian Medical Association.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, is organizing a workshop titled National Workshop on Treasury Single Account, TSA. Workshop contents include overview of public sector financial management reforms, e-payment and disbursement procedures, e-revenue collections and procedures, Treasury Single Account and its operation, and Integrated Personal and Payroll Information System, IPPIS. The workshop is designed for accountants, auditors, finance officers, treasurers, budget officers, treasury officers in charge of federal pay offices, and other officers involved in treasury management in federal, state, and local government and other government-owned agencies. Date, Monday 31st October to Wednesday 2nd November 2016. Venue, ASCON Complex, Tokpo Badagry. Fees, 75,000 Naira per participant. Bank account, ASCON e-collection account at any bank. For further inquiries, contact Workshop Director, Mr. G.A. Afolayan, or Workshop Coordinator, D.A. Unisa. Announcer, Director General, ASCON.
Welcome back. Now let's bring you up to date on the world of business as Nigeria makes an annual turnover of more than 3 billion naira from the stainless steel industry. Let's get more details from Viviani Dek before she walks us through the light of today's business.
A warm welcome to the Business News segment. Stakeholders in the stainless steel industry advocate for a strong private initiative to tap into the opportunities that abound in the business in the country, currently worth over 100 million naira annually in import duties and employs over 7,000 people. It is said to be a sustainable revenue base as it is versatile in application. The recent discovery of nickel in Kaduna State, they say, has repositioned Nigeria as the foreign investors' delight.
What we want to achieve within the shortest possible time as a ministry is to see how we can jumpstart and encourage the private sector to accomplish what we probably couldn't accomplish as government trying to run these enterprises.
What we are asking for is Nigerians to realize that everything around you is made of stainless steel. Women wear it. It's an architectural masterpiece everywhere in the world. It is used in everything you do, yet we are not partaking in it.
We are ready to collaborate with any organizations meant for production or that will ease job creation in Nigeria.
A timeline of 3 years has been earmarked to make Nigeria the hub for stainless steel in North and Western African states. And now for a summary of trading figures on the Nigerian Stock Exchange this Thursday, where the all-share index appreciated for the first time this week. Thanks for being part of this segment. The rest of the bulletin continues. Good evening.
Viviane Dekbefo there for us on business. We'll take a last break for tonight. When we return, of course, we update you on happenings in the global scene and sports.
As part of the efforts of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS, to promote voluntary compliance and spare taxpayers the burden of carrying forward old tax liabilities arising from penalty and interest, the service wishes to invite all principal officers, especially chairmen, managing directors, chief executive officers, and non-executive directors, chief financial officers, and all company owners or their representatives to take advantage of a special window to avoid payment of penalty and interest on tax due between 2013 and 2015. The service will grant a pardon dating back to 3 years, 2013 to 2015, to all taxpayers if such taxpayers declare their indebtedness within the 45-day special window and present a payment plan on the outstanding principal tax liability acceptable to the FIRS. This window opens on 5th October and closes on 24th November 2016 and relates only to accumulated penalty and interest, not principal tax due. Based on this waiver, part or full payment of undisputed tax liabilities should be made, while the balance can be paid in installments not lower than 25% on account. Failure to take advantage of this special window will result in the FIRS deploying all legal means, including criminal prosecution of board and management of defaulting organizations. Applicants wishing to take advantage of the special window are enjoined to forward their applications to Office of the Executive Chairman, Federal Inland Revenue Service, 20 Soko Day Street, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja.
Welcome back. Ethiopian authorities detain 1,600 people under state of emergency and Syria ceasefire in progress. These are more global tidbits with Talatu Ezirike.
Ethiopian authorities, in an effort to tackle the wave of unprecedented anti-government protest, declared a 6-month state of emergency. Under the emergency measures, people can be detained without an arrest warrant during the period. It has therefore detained a set of 1,600 persons, aside the 1,000 persons arrested on Monday. Similarly, police in Cote d'Ivoire's main city of Abuja have arrested several opposition leaders protesting the country's new constitution. The constitution, backed by President Alassane Ouattara, was passed by members of the parliament last week with provisions that removes age limit and raises nationality rules for the presidency. Also, Russia and Syrian airstrikes in rebel-held Aleppo ceased since Tuesday to allow civilians and fighters leave the troubled area. This comes as a pressure to retake the Iraqi city of Mosul from militants progresses and strengthen diplomatic ties with Philippines president to China that will boost trade. The two countries are ready to move on from a bitter fight over island in the South China Sea. That is along global tidbits. Talati Ezirike, NTA News.
Now let's join Kene Mabudike for the latest in the world of sports.